Alright, hey guys, this is Jaypegg. I'm from Ion, 4D, and Organization 13. And this is part 3 of my Whips and Flails tips and tricks tutorial series thing. This tutorial is going to be kind of advanced, so I highly recommend watching part 1 and 2 and mastering all the stuff in those before you do this one. Now that that's out of the way, let's get right into it. This tutorial I'm going to be talking about expanding on concepts having to do with whips and flails. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is mixing whips and flails. Lots of people think that whips and flails should have their own like segregated parts of the show, and what I mean by that is like you can be doing flails. You can be doing whips, and then you go into flails. I don't think that that's true or correct in any way. I think that our whips and flails should live harmoniously in our shows. And what I mean by that is whips and flails are similar enough that they can be merged together into cool new moves that can work very well in our shows and not look sloppy. So the first version of that is whip flails, what I like to call, and I do it a lot. This is not a new thing. This has been used for years. But it's basically doing whips with your fingers like this, as if you're doing a flail instead of like this, like doing the full close and like finger roll type close. It's like doing that instead of that other way. And it allows for different types of it allows for more changes in direction, in my opinion, and it allows for easier transitions in between flips and flips, flails and whips. So I can be doing the regular whip flail combo that everyone does, or that one, which is the other way, and I can transition into these whip flail things. And I do that a lot. Another way to merge them into one baby is to do that, which is actually like doing whip chaining and then bringing one hand out of it and then doing a flail. You can't really see it with this background that well, I'm sorry. But it's just adding a little thing in the background that makes it that much more trippy. So yeah, that's what that looks like. So yeah, play around with that. So the next thing I want to talk about is mixing whips and flails with other concepts. Like tech. So wait, let me check my notes. Yeah. So there's a combo that I use a lot, and I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but essentially it starts like this, and then my right hand comes back and does a flail to trigger this into being ready for the tech combo. So that's a good example of how flails can be used as things to transition and stuff. I don't use that much, but I know people who do, and it looks really cool, and it adds a whole new level of like complexity and flow tech to your show. Another technique that uses this is the form of clocking that I invented called whip clocks. Essentially, it's like normal clocking except what it does is it uses whips as the trigger and face of the clock. So this is a demonstration of that. So that's an example of how, that's another example of how whips and flails can be used in tech concepts. And the last one off the top of my head is flail tuts. I can't do this at all, but yeah, I'm not even gonna try. But it's essentially using flails to get in between tutting angles. As I said, I can't do it at all, so I can't really show you. But the person off the top of my head that has the best flail tuts is my 4D brother Direct. Definitely watch his shows if you want to see some really insane flail tuts, because they're just off the hook. And the same thing with tech, it just adds an entirely new, flowy but complex element to your tuts. So yeah, I hope this taught you that flails and whips don't just have to live in their own little secluded part of your show. You can include them into the rest of your show, and like use them as transitions and such, whatever you want. And just, I want to leave you with this. I don't want you to copy any of these tips, or I mean like concepts and ideas that I mention in these tutorials. I want you to take these concepts and make them your own. Change them. I've had too many times when I make a tutorial and people just copy the move. I want you guys to take these ideas and make them your own. That's why I didn't really explain step by step a lot of things. I want you guys to just take the concept behind the ideas and make them your own. Build off of them. Create something new. So yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. Hope these tutorials helped a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to message me or whatever. And yeah, peace. Have a nice day.